Hello, this is Angel Soriano. First, I want to start by saying that I was inspired to start this segment, which we are going to be calling Daily DogMan. And I was inspired to start this due to the fact that I was receiving a great deal of questions that at the time I was considering to be dumb questions. That wasn't right, okay? They're not dumb questions, it's just people not knowing the answer to some of the dog behaviors they were seeing or some of the dog questions they had. I certainly misread them, but nonetheless, it led me to the fact that we need to do better as far as answering these questions properly for people. So I figure that I would start this segment this week by really trying to answer questions that I get. I get them all the time live. I get emails with questions. So welcome to today's first ever Daily DogMan, where I will attempt to answer the question of how young is too young when getting a new puppy. So, as I said earlier, this particular segment is going to deal with a question that a friend posted to me. He recently got a new puppy that is 5 weeks old. And he stated that the breeder that he got him from mentioned that the puppy had all the shots. Mama was done with him. The doggy mama was done with him. And that the dog was potty trained. So, therefore, he felt, the dog was ready to go home. Okay, and at the time I have to say that I was not as honest with him as I should have been, and I basically, as I look back on it, I think maybe I was trying not to hurt his feelings, but the bottom line is that I felt differently than what I voiced at the time, and I was wrong. So I will have him watch this so he knows my true feelings, and we'll take it from there. But I wanted to break it down, so I'll predicate all this by saying that all of that I just heard and you just heard is simply nonsense, and I can pick different words to use, but I won't. One, a 5-week-old puppy could have not had all the shots already, as stated, okay? And simply said, typically the first set of shots is done about 4, maybe 5 weeks of age. The first booster, as they call it, is about 6 to 8 weeks of age. The second booster is about 10 to 12 weeks of age. And then rabies, 16, 18 weeks, depending on the veterinarian. And if you ask your vet, they'll tell you what their ideal dates might be. So to say 5 weeks, the dog had, all the shots, this puppy had all the shots, it's just nonsense, of course. Ask reputable breeders, they'll tell you about it. The question of potty training, I'm sorry, but I disagree with that. At 5 weeks, they're just beginning to know what to do. It takes a good solid 12, 14, sometimes 16 weeks to get the lesson. It's, the lesson of potty training is a complex lesson. Puppies are certainly ready to learn many other things, as beginner obedience, etc. They're hungry, right? They need to learn how to learn. However, potty training is complex, and it takes a little bit of time to get there. So potty training, I question as well. Okay. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the alpha order lesson that gets missed whenever a puppy is disconnected, taken away from the litter, or taken away from its mama too early. Okay, mama is quick to interrupt, to correct, and to teach the puppy a lesson. It's not a mean lesson; it's just a lesson they need to learn in the alpha order. Puppies in the litter also do the same thing. They also teach the alpha order, whatever the order might be. At least they understand there is an order, and that's important for all puppies to understand. It's not something that as humans we can teach them very easily, although we do find ourselves doing that quite a bit in our practice here as well whenever we get into these situations. So a good breeder will just not place a dog that is younger than 8 weeks. They just don't do it. It's too much trouble. Now, understand that anybody that lets them go sooner than that is simply because the humans in that house do not want to deal with the cleanup. Okay, mama dog takes care of all the cleanup on the puppies from birth till about 3 weeks. From then on, the humans take over the cleanup, which is not fun. So that might be the motivation more than anything else, other than what this person has been told. Now, This question is not easily answered whenever you're dealing with adopting a puppy. And the reason is, typically in adoption from a shelter, the puppy is either a singleton that was just found nearly dead, the mama could have perished, who knows? The bottom line is that it's probably a single dog. So the answer is probably going to be different, because do you leave that puppy in that shelter between, let's say, 5 weeks and 8, and learn nothing when it comes to alpha order behavior? Or do you take him home and let him learn nothing from the alpha order behavior, yet you're giving him nurturing and you're starting the early training that the puppy needs anyway in other areas? So in a situation like that, you're much better off taking him home, okay? But if you have a choice, I would say not, simply because the puppies and the mama can teach a much better lesson. So anyway, in these situations, you will benefit, and the puppy will benefit even more from a structured class of some sort, starting as early as the second booster is done, right? And that's because now we know that this puppy has been compromised as it relates to the alpha order and what's going on in the pack. And because of it, it's probably a good idea to start early training it with everything else that they need to learn. It's very important that a puppy learns the lesson of how to learn. It sounds kind of silly, but it's true. There are lessons to be learned, and that's how they pick it up. It's repetition. Now, on a parting note, no matter what anybody tells you about themselves administering their own vaccines, just know that most veterinarians and trade professionals will just simply not accept self-vaccines. There's just too much risk and too much room for error. So anyway, there you have it. This is Angel Soriano with my rant today for Daily Dogman. If you like this video, please help us out by subscribing to our YouTube channel. We also appreciate your comments if you have them. Remember, there are 3 ways of keeping in touch with us. 1, email us at dogman@mycanineu.com. 2, you can sign up to our email list at mycanineu.com/askthedogman. And 3, you can obviously subscribe to this channel by hitting the subscribe button. You can find all of this information in the comment section below. Thank you.